Welcome to the WMMA Today podcast with Drake Riggs and I, Steve King. Um, on this lineup, we have a recap of UFC Vegas 29, Deep Jewels, which I did not watch at all. Very little news, not much news at all. There's some mailbag questions. And then we have previews for a few different cards. Yes. What is up, Kana Watanabe Army? What is up, guys and girls?
Steve, we have some other
you guys.
Yeah, big week for him. There's
Big
some
week.
news,
Yeah.
some news that I didn't mention to you before we went on air, but I knew that I should mention it to you because I want to see your reaction for the people. But you see who got a check mark recently?
No.
Your boy got a check mark over here.
Oh shit! On Twitter, huh? Nice.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Just slapped it on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tried for it?
I did put in a thing. Yes.
Yeah. How long ago?
2 weeks, I think. And then what was it, like Wednesday?
Yeah.
Wednesday night, pretty late. But yeah.
Cool.
I just remember talking about that back in the day. And you were like, "What, that fucking check mark?"
I did want that check mark when I was doing a lot of media stuff. I did. Now
Right.
now it's I don't care. But it's good.
And that was on your old account too, right?
Before that was on my old account, where I had almost 10,000 followers. Yes. Now I'm down to what, 4,000 almost, or some shit like that. But yeah, good for you, Drake. I'm happy for you. That's awesome. It's awesome. I mean, very, very cool. So we got people, man. We got people in here. So let's say hi to our people. We said Rue already. Hello. James, hi. Angela said on her podcast that she was offered to fight Virna at this date. Funny that she said Virna was unsure, so she took an easier fight.
Alrighty. We'll get to that.
Yeah. Hello, Jimmy. Yusuf, welcome. Yes, Rain, hello. From the best WMMA podcast in the world.
What can we say?
Makoto, hello. Been looking forward to this. I know. We know. Ghost Phantom, hello. What's going on, pal? Sammy, it's been a while. I hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah, can't complain. Can't complain, my man.
We're doing well. OG Traumatic, hello. OG Traumatic.
Good to see you.
Oh.
I apologize for my quality in these early stages, you guys. I believe that I'm going to drop because I'm rendering an interview and it's making my computer slower. But anyways, good to see everybody here. Let's get on with the lineup. Boy, oh boy, did we have some rather fun, crazy, many emotions over the weekend, Steve. So to start things off with the biggest roller coaster of emotion for myself, as you know, let's just go get into it.
Yeah. So Virna Jandiroba beat Kanako Murata by second round. Dr. Stoppage. Man, Virna is turning into kind of a monster. She's getting very good at
everything
at a pace that is pretty fucking amazing. Like she's she's really turned into, not that she wasn't already, but she's like stepping up, knowing full well she's in the UFC. She needs to go hard. Like that's what has happened with Virna Jandiroba now.
Yeah. No, she wasn't incredible here against somebody who is very, very good in their own right with Kanako. And I just think that, man, Virna is just a very, very unique talent in the division. I mean, you accompany.
People are scared to go to the ground with her.
Yeah.
It's very, very frightening if you're Mackenzie Dern.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that Kanako didn't even really try until, Virna started landing a bit on her.
Until she got worked on the feet, and then she kind of had to try to go to the ground because she was getting worked on the feet.
Yeah, then we saw how that went, and man, this had to be like the saddest outcome, right? Of course it had to be. My two gals, what a terrible 2021 it's been for me and my favorite fighters. That is such a heartbreaking reaction, to see Kanako, and what a warrior, fighting that entire second round with her elbow. If you guys saw the X-ray, gnarly, just completely dislocated.
Terrible.
And kind of frustrating that the towel wasn't thrown in, or the fact that the referee didn't realize this.
The referee was standing there looking at her immobility of her arm. Like she couldn't raise it to even block a punch or anything like it was useless. Her one arm was useless.
Yeah, that was very
terrible.
Frustrating.
It's fucking terrible. And that was Mike Beltran, right?
No, it was Tugnoni, of course.
Yeah, that was not Mike Beltran. There was another one with Mike Beltran that I had kind of a beef with him.
He let some fence grabs happen.
Yeah. What fight was that?
It was like the one before this one, maybe. I don't remember specifically the names of the guys, but
I don't
it pretty much affected the outcome of that fight. Like, you should have taken points away. Very, very bizarre from Beltran.
For sure. He's one of the best, and I mean, didn't look like the best in that fight.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Big old bummer for Kanako, but what a warrior, so of course he's gonna want to continue, but she was saved some serious damage here probably, which is a good thing. Sooner or later, should have been sooner, but I just think that like I said, Virna's just really a very unique talent in this division. Same level of grappling as we've seen from Mackenzie Dern, but her striking, man, it's looked better. If you're going to go from how they fought each other and then in this fight, she is phenomenal. So
just getting better, man. Yeah, getting better, and it's pretty awesome to see her
evolve like this.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we knew we've been talking about Virna Jandiroba for a long time. We knew what she could be, but man, there's going to be problems for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think I was even telling Ghost Phantom that night after this fight played out, and he said something about her, and I was like, even though she's had these two setbacks against Mackenzie Dern, which was a very close and very fun fight, and then the Carla one, which was also very close, and I thought it was fun. We got some grappling in that one, but despite those two setbacks, I still have always felt confident about her being a top 5 fighter at some point.
Those are actually two people that are decent fights to lose to, though. Like Carla Esparza is a champion, a former champion, and she's made herself become relevant again up there in the title picture again.
And they weren't like dominations either.
No, not at all. And Mackenzie Dern was fucking wonderful fight. That was a great fight, man. Great fight from both of them. Mackenzie Dern was better that night. If they were to go again, would Jandiroba win? Maybe with this new level of striking that she has, maybe she does beat Mackenzie Dern. But we do know that Mackenzie Dern is legit as fuck on the ground. So there's always that.
That was the thing, though. Like, I think if you look at Verna's striking in that Dern fight, which still looked very good and much improved, she seemed a lot more comfortable, though, in this fight with Kanako.
Yeah, for sure. Which is weird because Kanako's the better striker out of Mackenzie Dern and Kanako.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's the evolution of Virna Jandiroba. That is her. That's her coaching. That's her being open to learning and just getting better and better every fight.
Yeah,
very right. And I think you're right. Top 5 isn't crazy. It's not out there.
No, not at all. I mean, yeah, one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners
in MMA.
Yeah, period. In MMA, period. So that's always fine. And then if you can, look this good on the feet and continue to get better there, what you gonna do? What are you gonna do against her? So
right. Yeah. It was good to see. It was really good to see, man.
Yeah, and it is also impressive, I think, to note that hey, despite Kanako not having success in any, like, not being able to win this, right? But the fact that she still survived on the ground. She didn't get submitted. She didn't tap. I think that's a little win within the loss for her. And I don't think her stock drops too much here just because of how good Verna is and the fact that man, she just showed some serious heart by continuing after that.
How tough is she, man? She did get her ass beat. Verna beat her ass. But how tough is that woman, though? Like, dude, her arm was useless to her, and she kept on going. I mean, didn't do much, but she also didn't get taken down or get knocked out.
Right.
She lost because of the doctor stoppage in the middle of in between the second and third round.
Yep. So. She seems okay, though, now. Good spirits afterwards. She's posted, as she shared the x-ray, which is good to see. But I also was saying that, like, not really. Yep. But I feel very bad for whoever faces Kanako next, though, because, like, she's that kind of athlete and that mindset of a competitor that, I think she's only going to be even scarier coming back, especially right after this. Look at what she can work on and go from here. So I think it'll end up being a good thing for her. She's still young, 27, I believe. So yeah,
she wasn't happy that they stopped the fight either,
which is crazy.
She yelled when she saw that they were stopping the fight. She screamed. She wasn't happy with it, but obviously it was the right thing to do. It should have been done probably 2 minutes before that, 3 minutes before that, in the second round by the referee, or like you said, throw in the towel by her coaching.
Yeah, which is always a difficult thing to do, of course. For
you don't see it very often in MMA, like at all, ever. In boxing, you do. Boxing, give them props for that shit. The boxers will throw the boxing coaches will throw in the towel. MMA, it's like it never happens.
Yeah, I mean the one that comes to mind always is Diaz and Thompson.
Right.
Yeah. But that was even like, I don't even know if the referee saw that. I think that was probably it was getting stopped anyways. I'd have to go back and look at the angle of everything, but like it wasn't stopped because of the towel, but they did throw it. They knew that it was over, which is still good to see. So yeah, but so we'll see where things go from here. And Jimmy here suggesting Verna versus Hill if Hill miraculously, he says, wins against Tisha. I don't think it would be a miracle, Jimmy, but as we said last week, we don't favor her to win that fight, that rematch. But
I wouldn't favor her against Verna either.
No, absolutely not. No, that's a
bad
terrible.
That's a bad fight for Angela Hill.
Yeah, no, and I think Verna should fight upward past Hill, even if she wins. I she wants. She called out Nina actually, which I thought was interesting. It's not. That's kind of like. That's not something that's unjustifiable, right? Like that's somebody above her, but not too high. So I mean, that's not terrible, right?
No,
I mean,
and she knows that if they go to the ground, Nina's done.
yeah, very true. So looking at how things played out there, Sammy suggesting Verna versus Turn 2 at some point. I doubt we'll get it next, but
yeah, it's too soon. I don't think that the UFC wants to do that. I think they're happy Mackenzie got away with the win at this point. I think the UFC is probably more of a Mackenzie Dern fan than a Virna fan right now. But I mean, if Virna keeps getting these solid wins in very great ways, they can't overlook her.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And it was still a rather close fight. I think at some point, depending on who they face and everything, it could line up right. Would love to see it. Mr. Beckham is here. Good to see you, Mr. Beckham. Where's he been? Misha Tate is back. Yeah, she's been. That was announced a while ago, but good to see you.
She looked good. She looked good on camera.
Yeah, she's looking fit. You know, if you follow her on Instagram, she posts a lot of her training. Looking good. All that. And Degenerate Dane is in the house. He's still alive. COVID only gets casuals, he says. Well, we're not going to get into that, sir, but good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Chuck saying it's crazy how fighters always accuse other fighters of ducking them after the one being accused comes off a win.
It's funny how that happens, Chuck.
Yeah.
Happens all the time. He's fighting.
Ghost saying we're not going to mention Verna's brilliant hand fighting from open stance. Well, I mean, everywhere, man. She had it going on.
Yeah.
So
her curly hair looked good too.
Yeah. Got it all going on, that Verna. So she's got everything going on except for people pronouncing her last name. So that annoys me so much, but what's she gonna do? So
actually saw it in the comments. Yusuf asked, what are Virna and Kana ceilings? Well, I think Drake.
I think they both can be champion. I think
Virna for sure can be a champion for sure.
Right.
She's already been an Invicta champion.
So has Kanako.
Well, yeah, that's true. But Virna, her jiu-jitsu is eventually gonna start taking over for her. And as she continues to get better striking abilities, man, she's gonna be a problem. She already is.
Yeah, for sure. And Yusuf, actually, I think Yusuf in the mailbag gave us a good springboard off of that, so we'll save some additional thoughts for later. But yeah, indeed. And good to see you, Stamina. London Calling. How the fuck y'all keeping? Scrap Packers. Good to see you, buddy. So
hello,
good
Stamina.
fun. Very bittersweet for me, but it happened.
Jimmy. And John Addick keeps talking about custody battles instead of concentrating on fighters' names.
Well, you know, he's got to do what he's got to do.
No. I think it's pretty funny. I think it's funny.
Always comes out of nowhere. And before we move on, OG, I know, OG Traumatic says Verna versus Andrade would be fun if Andrade ever comes back down. Would be fun, but I'm not sure how likely that is to happen because they are pretty good friends and training partners. So don't know about that. I've asked them both about training with each other before, and yeah, I don't remember if I asked about if they'd fight each other, but I'm not going to hold my breath for that one. Would be fun though, indeed, especially since they have that familiarity. But
would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Jimmy bragging a little bit. I told you guys that Verna's jiu-jitsu is simple yet very effective. We've known it's good, Jimmy. We have known it's good. Simple. I still don't know if I agree with that, but I understand both you and Ghost Phantom's points. But yeah, she is at an incredibly high level. So Stamina. John Annick's pronunciation of Aaron's name is a curiosity all on its own as well. Indeed, it is. So, anyway, I know Steve will be excited to talk about this, and I'm not upset to talk about it either. It's just surprising. Didn't expect this. A very, very good performance to kick off the night in the very first fight of the night, Steve.
Yeah. Casey O'Neill beat Laura Procopio. Third round rear naked choke. Casey O'Neill keeps on doing her thing. She's looking really good. We both picked Procopio, but Casey O'Neill is a very good prospect. We were wrong to pick Procopio, obviously.
Started off looking good.
But then she just hit a wall. She gasped.
Yeah.
Then Casey O'Neill took over.
Yeah, I mean, very strong start from Lara in that first round. Won it pretty clearly, I thought. We're just kind of beating Casey to the punches, a little bit, a step ahead of her, and then just really, I think the pace and relentlessness of Casey just to get in her face and not stop. Really, that was kind of the thing, was she just kept coming and would get in the clinch and get some knees in there, and they both traded plenty of knees throughout the first round as well. But I think that was the big thing, was just Casey just did not stop. That's really the key to it for her. And Laura couldn't keep up. And my goodness, that was very impressive, especially after a first round that didn't really go her way. So I'm not quite sold on her going super duper far yet, but this is a fantastic sign to see against somebody who Steve and I both thought was, we were afraid that this was going to be too much too soon, despite them both being prospects. We've seen the levels and competition that Procopio has fought compared to O'Neill. And Casey showed that she is also on that level by beating her, and not only beating her, but submitting her completely out, didn't even tap. So did that standing up first, as you can see, and then fell to the ground, and a fantastic win. I was very impressed by this.
It was
just mainly the fact that she could, overcome a little bit of that early storm and not go away. That was really the key.
She's got a toughness to her.
Yeah, she really does. Been good to see, especially early on. I think it's good to go through some adversity when you're still on the come up. And it wasn't a whole lot. She wasn't in danger of getting finished in that first round, but again, it didn't go her way.
She was getting hit though.
Yeah, for sure.
I did see people are jumping on this wagon a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Casey O'Neill wagon a little bit. They're saying, top 15. I don't think.
Yeah, let's slow down there.
But who isn't in the top 15 anymore is Antonina Shevchenko.
Okay.
I think that's a solid fight for Casey.
See, that's the interesting thing, right? Is people saying top 15 and all that. All right, we were afraid that this was a rush. Now you don't need to guarantee that. You don't need to definitely do that. So somebody like Antonina, I think, is right on the edge there, where I wouldn't be super mad at it. But again, it's one that, how much would it tell us? Because we know that Casey has the ground advantage. It's total striker versus grappler in terms of their strengths there. So I think that she should take on next a fairly well-rounded fighter who is a step above Procopio, obviously, but then not quite top 15 yet, but not Antonina, who was just in there. Maybe somebody like Jillian. I wouldn't be mad at that. That'd be, Jillian's in a bad spot right now, but
she would piece Jillian up though. So. That wouldn't be a good fight for Jillian.
Yeah, but somebody kind of maybe similar to there. I don't know. I'd have to really look at the roster a bit, but I don't think that we should rush these fighters. I see Chuck right there throwing in the winner of Kim versus Molly. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, they're not, quite 15, but maybe even loser I might feel better about. They both have a good amount of experience.
The loser I think the loser would be better.
Yeah. So
Stamina asked, worth going back and watching this fight because
Definitely.
you missed it. Yeah, it was a really good fight, Stamina.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yes, Makoto. I was seeing that. Like,
Hate it.
I don't think that she should fight a top 15 fighter yet. Drake thinks that as well. Uh, just let them fight up. Let them build up instead of throwing them in there with somebody, after 2 wins.
You're gonna hate this one, Steve, but I think maybe if Sabina comes on back down, it might not be terrible. I know, of course, 2 prospects there still. Maybe Jojua, but somebody like that, maybe. I think that could be good.
I'd rather it not be Sabina Mazo.
I know. Maybe nah, I don't know. Moreau, is it when she's good to go again? That'd be a tough one on the feet for sure.
Yeah, she's gonna get hit for sure. But I mean, that's what she needs though. She needs somebody to really give her problems. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mazo will be good, says Rue. He likes it.
OG Traumatic is Tracy Cortez in the weight class. Maybe her.
We just got JJ Aldrich coming up here first. But yeah, maybe after that, I wouldn't be mad at that either. That'd be a very good fight. I like that a lot, actually.
It would be a good fight, but again, it's two prospects that the UFC is probably really high on. Tracy Cortez for reasons. Casey O'Neill because she's got that Australian Scottish thing going on. Fights out of Thailand, and she's kind of mouthy, that sort of thing. UFC's probably high on her because of that, and she's fucking getting people
looking good.
Yeah, rear naked choke.
I love Stamina's comment right here, just the way he phrased it.
Dig up Agapova from wherever the fuck she is.
I'm not mad at that either. That would be. I mean, again, there's now that we're laying it all out there, there are so many prospects at flyweight who are like have some good potential, but you're like, all right, I guess we're gonna probably have to kill off one for the time being. And technically, I guess Agapova already did get killed off for the time being in that last one. So it's just a matter of if you would want to put her in that risky position again. But flyweight's getting stacked in that back end to the point where you're going to have to. So
Chuck, win 2 in a row. They're ready for a ranked fighter. Lose to that ranked fighter. Trash doesn't belong in the
spot on. That is so hilariously accurate.
Terrible.
Absolutely nailed
Terrible.
It. But all right, that does it for UFC Vegas 29, you guys. 2 very good fights, and I enjoyed this card overall. Thought it was pretty solid.
Really good card. Really good card coming off of a really fun pay-per-view.
Yeah, indeed.
Solid 2 weeks for the UFC. This next card is kind of meh.
Yeah, should be all right.
Obviously it's going to be fights and they're going to be good, but as far as like names and stuff, not many names on this next card.
Yeah. Oh, and Stamina throws out Shakarova. I was just thinking about her the other day. You're reading my mind lately, Stamina. So I love that suggestion. Actually, I think Lilia versus O'Neill. That might be the one to make. I think that's. I'm very, very curious to see Shakarova get back in there with somebody who's not
against somebody.
Yeah, anybody, but not thrown to the wolves like she was. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Yeah. So
she's kind of forgotten.
Yeah, I mean, rough spot to come into, but I still think she has plenty of potential from what we've seen. And no shame in losing to Lauren Murphy on short notice. So yeah, I like that for O'Neill. That one works for me. But anyway, big weekend, you guys, in Japan. We got 2 new champions. The tournament is over. Deep Jewels 33 has concluded. Chuck, man, I know you were watching this, so fill up the comments with your thoughts as well. And we got two new champs and a double champ as well, Steve. So what a way to conclude things.
Yeah, I didn't see it, so I know nothing other than about who won.
All right, so yeah, I mean, obviously, Saori Oshima pulled it off, won this thing after first taking out Siwoo Park in the finals before the finals.
Crazy.
In my opinion, very crazy. Siwoo Park was, I think, both of our favorites, most people's favorite to win this whole thing. She'd already beaten everybody in the tournament prior. Her first fight with Oshima was very good. The first round was very competitive. Then after that, Park just kind of figured her out and defended the takedowns. In this rematch, didn't quite go that way. I've yet to see the fights as well, but I've read all about them and I'm very excited to see them. But Oshima apparently got dropped early and then ended up pulling off an armbar. So a very quick 2.5 minute comeback of sorts, which is just what you love in a tournament. And we knew they would be either of these two ladies, I think. At least I felt that way, that they'd go on to win this whole thing. And the two fighters with the most potential out of all the atom weights in deep right now. And Saori proved it. She's already the microweight champion, and now she's an atomweight champion. So fantastic stuff from her. She went on to beat Hikaru Aono, who also got an armbar against Nisei, and then got the decision there in the finals. Yeah, man. A whole lot of fun with the submissions on this card. And, Takabayashi picked up the unanimous decision. Very, very excited to see how that played out. I really liked from what I saw from her, despite the quickness of her fight with Sakura at Ryzen. Karinabe beat Mika Arai. Seika Izawa, though, in a rematch again with Miki Matono. She wins the strawweight title, gets her own armbar. Armbars all over this event, but she is legit, man. Star Flower, 23 years old. A judo and wrestling base, getting these submissions at this stage, just 3-0, but looking very, very good doing so. And I think that, if we're going to highlight people out of this event who are going to go on to do big things, obviously the two new champions have very bright futures. And Sayaka is already talking about that she wants to represent Deep Jewels on the grand stage. And surprisingly, Steve, I don't know if you saw this because I did tweet it, but she mentioned one in Bellator, and she's a strawweight. She never said anything about the UFC.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is kind of refreshing, I guess, but
it's nice. Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I hope that she goes to Bellator, but I mean, one would be good too.
Yeah, well, the thing with Bellator would be she'd have to fight a flyweight, so that's why that was kind of more interesting. But her in the one atomweight division would be very fun.
Why not both?
Why not both? Yeah, just go around. You got plenty of time. Seka, she's 23, as I said. Very, very exciting fighter. Both her and Oshima are just crazy aggressive with their grappling, and it pays off. I think killer instinct is so important, and they both have it. And yeah, like Chuck says, got it for Park, but happy for Oshima. Park will be back. Sounds like she got caught for the most part. You tell me. Crazy. And yeah, OG Traumatic also points out, I didn't want to say this, that King Reina actually lost to who was it, Ishigo? Or I'm blanking on her name, but she trains with Shizuka. And there's some backstage footage of the person who beat King Reina bawling. She was so happy. She was just crying her eyes out from beating King Reina. Unanimous decision over there at Deep, was it 101 Impact? I might be getting my numbers wrong, but King Reina drops another one, Steve. Not been good for her lately. So
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, it is very upsetting, especially because that was at, I think, 135. So she's made that cut and really adjusted things, but
disappointed in King Reina, man.
Yeah.
I want to see better from her.
Yeah, so that was definitely another shock of the weekend in Japan. And Chuck pointed out that one in Bellator gaining prominence in Japan recently. He heard, well, Bellator obviously has that connection with Ryzen.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, one is also over in Asia, but just kind of.
I don't see why one wouldn't be like big in Japan.
Yeah, for sure. But either way, plenty of notable things happened on this card, obviously, and people to look out for. And surely the event will be up on the YouTube page here this week. They're generally pretty quick about it. Not as quick as Ryzen, who getting them up like the day after recently, which you love to see for those who missed the Ryzen shows live. But man, very, very impressive stuff from Izawa and Oshima. Very excited to see the futures for both of them. They're both very, very good. And yep, James, lots of people are disappointed in King Reina.
Sad.
Very surprising stuff, but definitely check it out, Jimmy. I am very excited to watch it in full as well.
Yeah, me too.
I totally would have caught this one live.
I wouldn't have.
But it actually, Steve, the time wasn't far off when it started. It was like
11 o'clock our time or something like that.
No, it was like an hour after the UFC. It was like 8.
Oh,
it was actually a fantastic time for us. I was just doing some family stuff, taking a break from fighting for a change. But yeah, I know this was definitely a not to miss card with the tournament and all that. But you just got to take some personal time away sometimes. But here we are now. So Deep Jewels 33 in the books. Looking forward to 34 and when Aya Murakami comes back, everything, all that kind of stuff. So we will see. All right, you guys, on to the Twitter mailbag, everybody's favorite.
Maybe she shouldn't have lost a lot of weight. Like, when you're doing something right, keep that going. Like, man, dude.
That's one way to look at it. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to check that fight out too, just to see exactly.
Yeah, I want to see. I know that she lost. I just want to see like how she lost and why she lost.
Yeah. So, all right. But for the Twitter mailbag this week, we got actually a lot, Steve. I got one in my DMs. I got one in my email. Then we got the ones on your tweet. So we got a good loaded bag today, which is fantastic to see. And we'll start off with, I'm trying to do who got in the mailbag first. And I believe Ghost Phantom beat y'all this week. So let's get to him in my DMs, which here we are. Right, which is unrelated. Well, a little bit, he ties it in there at the end, but here we are.
All right, so start at the top. Cheeto Vera called out Dominic Cruz on Saturday, but Cruz said he wants to fight up in the rankings. If this is the mentality going for top 15 in each division, then how are the lower ranked fighters supposed to find fights? How do they expect to move up if higher ranked opponents keep declining them, i.e. strawweight?
What are your initial thoughts on this, Steve?
Well, I think that's a bad fight for Dominic Cruz. I don't think that he should take that fight. I think he should be fighting up and not down. Cheeto is good, but he's also very full of himself. He thinks very, very highly of himself. But he's solid. I like him. I like him as a fighter. I like him as a person. Like he's one of those fighters that I gravitate to, and that I like. But also you gotta think of Dominic Cruz. Sure, this is a great call for Cheeto Vera, but you got to think of Dominic Cruz and say, look, he's fighting. He took that fight with Casey.
Kenny.
Casey what?
Kenny.
Casey Kenny. Couldn't remember the last name. And he fought down, obviously, in that fight. Why would he
do it again after winning?
Dominic Cruz continue to fight down when obviously he wants to make one last push to the title fights? There's no reason for Dominic Cruz to take this fight.
Yeah, I think a little bit situational here. Ghost, and I know you're doing the comparison with strawweight, but in terms of a guy like Dominic, who, you know, the best bantamweight ever, former champion, this stage in his career, all that, the only other person, I guess the other person like that for strawweight would be Joanna. You know, that's clearly the best comparison you could make in that case, but that's like it, right? I don't think that you could really say that for the most part or make that comparison with the other fighters, but I know that, you know, you do point out the mentality of going for top 15 in each division. How are the lower ranked fighters supposed to get in there? You know, it's kind of just working for it, right? And not jumping too far ahead. Like, let's say Machito, I know he's been ranked before, but he wasn't ranked this weekend, right?
Yeah, he was. He was 15.
Okay, all right. So 15 guy, and fighting and winning around, or like guys who are just a little bit ahead of you and just kind of gradually climbing, because, you know, if you're too far down, then honestly, why should you want to fight backwards, right? So unless they're close and you're still trying to make that rise yourself, and depending on if you're coming off a loss or not, just depends on a lot of things, I think. So that's the tricky part about rankings, I suppose, that aren't tournament based. But yeah, I don't know. It's
looking at the rankings, there's all kinds of champions in the top 10, former champions in the top 10 of that division. Peter Yan, Jose Aldo, Cody Garbrandt, Marlon Moraes. No, he was never champion, right? Frankie Edgar, and then Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz should be fighting another former champion, I think, where Cheeto can be fighting a guy like Jimmy Rivera or a Sensao or something like that.
Right.
Which is higher than him, but not Dominic Cruz, which is in the top 10. I don't have a problem with Vera fighting Cruz. It's just I don't see why Cruz would take that fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially his age now. Like, he doesn't want to fight down in the rankings. He's already done it.
Yeah, I'm still surprised that was even, you know, what happened in his last fight. But
yeah, I mean, I don't think that Casey Kenny deserved that fight anyway, but Dominic took it. He wanted to be active, I guess. But like Stamina says at the end of this, he says, I don't like the matchup, but he was clearly unexcited by it too. Yeah, he didn't say anything, right? Did he say anything at all?
Who, Dominic?
Yeah.
I think he did. I think he pretty much said what Ghost Phantom is saying, about how, you know, he wants to fight up, kind of. I think. I didn't see it myself, but if he said anything, that's all he said.
I wasn't watching the fights like closely. They were on, but I was also at
yeah, I know he didn't say anything on commentary, so if he did, it was after.
Right. I don't know if he even said anything. I don't know. I just don't see why Dominic would want to take that fight. It's whatever. I mean, it's up to him, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and Ghost Phantom mentions it. You know, this is also a big problem at strawweight, mainly with Joanna. Like, what is Marina supposed to do? Yeah, and Marina is somebody who now she's been saying, like, I just want to fight up, you know, which she has earned. She has well earned.
I want
her
to fight Joanna, man.
Yeah, we all want to see that terribly, and I
don't
think that
Joanna would take that fight.
Yeah, and she had said she wouldn't, but it's like it just comes down to if the UFC wants to be like, all right, fuck it, we're gonna try and make this, and then you see what the fighters say, which, you know, one of them is 100% gonna say yes, and it just falls down to 50-50 on the other one. So you got to make that push for it, UFC, and you know they're contractually obligated to offer 2 fights a year, so it makes you wonder like who exactly they are / have been offering Joanna, because in theory they could be like, all right, Joanna, you we know you've been vacation and kind of taking this year off. we have to give you a contract offer. You want to fight Hannah Cyphers? And like, she's going to say no to it. Like something silly like that, right?
Yeah.
Just to say that they did it, which who knows if that happens, but just the little loopholes of sorts. But yeah, I don't know. And Go says another example, Tisha wanted to fight Jan or Dern after her win, but she said she was too low ranked.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. I mean, that just wouldn't make sense for Jan or Dern though, right? Like, of course you want that. I think it goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. It's like working your way up to that spot. Sometimes there'll be fighters who are like, yeah, I'll take on anybody. I don't care. Give me the offer. I'll do it. We've seen that plenty of times. Yeah. But, you can't fault somebody for being like, no, I've earned this spot. Why don't they have to work their way up to it as well?
I wouldn't fault Dominic Cruz for saying, hold on here. No. I mean, I wouldn't fault him at all. I'm not the biggest Dominic Cruz fan.
My guy.
I just don't think that that's a good fight for him, for Dominic Cruz at this point, when there's all kinds of bigger names up there for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still dying for that Aldo fight. Gosh. I think do the Frankie one. Do the Frankie one.
And then Aldo would be like, nah, I'm not fighting Dominic Cruz.
Right. But then instead he's taking the Cheetos and he's taking
rank number 3 or something like that.
Who?
Jose Aldo.
No, he's not that high. He's not that high.
He's up there. Okay, he's number 4.
Really? Okay. Wow, yeah. I didn't know he was that high up. That's pretty insane.
He's right above Cody Garbrandt.
Okay, interesting.
Frankie Edgar's at number 7. That's an interesting fight for Dominic Cruz.
Yeah, I think that he should fight Frankie or Aldo, but Aldo's fighting Pedro next. So, but
he did go down in the rankings.
Yeah, I mean, he fought Cheeto in his last fight. Remember, that was his last win.
Yeah.
So, that's when you get a guy who doesn't give a fuck, and then a guy like Dominic who maybe understands that he's not going to be around for maybe as long as he is older than Aldo, despite I guess they started a little bit similar time, but either way, still younger. So. And less wear and tear, all that kind of thing. Just being realistic about things. Yeah. But and Ghost pointed out, Marina worked her way up. Joanna doesn't think so. Very true.
Joanna just doesn't want to fight. I'm convinced that she just doesn't want to fight. She wants to look pretty and shit.
And OG said Yan Xiaonan called out Joanna 2 after Yan beat Claudia, so I think Joanna was offered Yan 2 a while ago. Could have been another fight that would have been awesome, would be awesome. Makoto says he likes what the UFC ended up doing after strawweights turned down lower ranked fighters and just give them title shots. Good fun. Anyway, that was Ghost Phantoms.
Joanna wants to fight for the belt or Whaley, but for big money. And I mean, honestly, she's kind of earned that too.
Not the belt part, but yeah, sure.
No, not the belt part. But a big money fight against Whaley. That would be a huge fight.
Oh yeah, massive rematch. So. All right, so for the next mail bit here, this is a very tricky one because Makoto sent this to my email, and it's tricky for some reasons here, which is because in it, he shared some screenshots with me from Mr. Brian Campbell, and they've since been deleted, according to Makoto, and I did search for them myself. They are not there. I just do not. I do not believe, as much of a ridiculous comment, as ridiculous as his comments have been in the past, Makoto, I just can't believe that these are real without having real proof. So I'm not going to share them because they're very ridiculous. I'll show you.
Yeah.
I will show you, Steve, later. But
God, Brian Campbell. Yeah, stamina. Oh no. Exactly. Every time that guy is fucking brought up now, it's like, oh God, what did he say this time? What stupid shit did he say this time? Like, how is Luke Thomas even? How does he do a show with that guy? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like,
yeah, but these are very
fucking worst.
are very over the top, and without having actual proof, I think it would go against my integrity to share them as if they were his, Makoto. So please understand where I'm coming from here. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt at this moment, but
I won't.
That's fine. Steve can do that. But still, he did ask some questions, and I will just say that the basis of these real or fake tweets is journalists disrespecting fighters, champions, right? So Makoto asks, are media members held to such a low standard that they can disrespect a fighter like this? And I think that yes, of course, this is Whaley related. but yes, I'll discuss the questions right now, Makoto. It's very interesting because I think that MMA media in particular is actually as a whole is held to such a low standard that they
because they're shit
can get away with disrespecting fighters in certain ways. And again, not saying that Brian Campbell did these tweets exactly, but we have seen, I mean, he has done it. He has done it before. He did it to Kaya Sakura and pretty much all of Japan.
Yeah, we literally saw it. Like, what was it? Just a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Where he said some stupid ass comments.
Yeah, that was before New Year's. But
was it that long ago?
Yeah, I know. It feels crazy, huh? That was the Horiguchi rematch. But yeah, I see journalists, or I'm not gonna say journalists, MMA media people, disrespect fighters on pretty regular basis. The degrees of how bad it is varies for sure. And Jimmy, I'm not sharing it. And on this show,
I mean, you guys can try to dig it up and go find it.
Yeah, you can do that.
I literally knew nothing about it, so.
Overall, though, I do think that MMA media as a whole is held to such a low standard, and the reason for that is because of how hard it is to make a living in MMA media and how much money there isn't, and especially when you compare it to other sports, right? Like, you never see basketball media or NFL media, depending on who. Like, there's the Skip Baylesses out there, which fuck those guys, can't stand them, who get away with it because of how long they've been around and their position, all that shit. But as a whole, it's not that way, right? It's typically not that way. But in MMA media,
actually, like NFL media is really good.
Yeah, for the most part. There's always going to be some bad apples and whatnot. But the thing with MMA media is fucking, for the most part, anybody can get in, because at least at a base level, because you practically have to start out in this industry working for free, and often a lot of places will just take somebody to work for them without having any experience. And that's great if you want to get into it, like the fans that Steve and I were. And I mean, not quite necessarily kind of how we got in, right? But
no, dude, you did Sherdog work.
Yes, I did Sherdog stuff. But they let me in as a fan though too, so it's like it starts out interestingly that way. Whereas,
but also, like, we've kind of written our own articles for ourselves and stuff. even before Twitter, like getting a following on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that we wrote articles for these websites to get followers. We already wrote the articles. They were already there for you and I. There's a lot of people, like, I'm not going to name names. There are people out there on certain websites that write for certain websites that do not, and you and I have talked about it, do not know how to write.
Dude, I saw some today.
They have very bad grammatical errors. Like, if you have an editor that is working harder than you in your own articles, you probably shouldn't be writing articles, right? And now these people are allowed to go into an MMA media into events as MMA media, not even knowing how to write. So of course, not knowing how to write, of course they're probably not smart enough to even know the difference between right and wrong questions, and how to treat fighters the right way or the wrong way. Like you were saying, anybody can write. Anybody, you guys can go into MMA media right now. You guys can go into MMA media. You guys can go write for a website. Fuck, I'll give you the platform myself. But you guys can go into MMA media, and it would be fine. It would be fine. A goofball can go into MMA media right now.
Yeah.
No, Stamina. I am not going to name names. I won't, because listen. There are people out there, and I see your little emoji. It's funny. It's cute. You're giving me shit, and I get it. But there are people out there that don't belong, that shouldn't be writing articles. But yet they are. Like I said, if an editor is working harder than the actual writer, yeah, you probably don't belong.
That's also a thing too, is that the amount of real editors is incredibly limited.
Yeah, that too.
Like, for example, when I started out with bjpen.com, I was my own editor, and I had less than a year of experience there, which thankfully it worked out, for me. And I still have been my own editor ever since I've been there. But for the most of my career, I've been my own editor, which is like, it shouldn't be that way, like it's a nice luxury to have, but if you want to grow and improve, I feel like that hinders you.
Yeah, you need an editor to get better. I've learned from editors myself, and I mean, I'm a fairly good writer, but I've learned from editors.
Yeah, I've edited Steve's stuff too.
I don't think that having editors is a bad thing, but you need editors for sure. Like, you definitely need editors as a website, unless if you're the one that is a decent writer and you can edit too.
Right. Yeah, but even in most big publications, like most legit, all of them, right? Even if you're an editor, you never edit your own stuff.
Yeah, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be editing your own shit. That's like, you're writing a term paper for college. You're writing a term paper. You shouldn't be editing your own stuff. You should have somebody editing for you, right?
No.
I mean, you're gonna make mistakes, and you need other viewpoints. Drake thinks differently than I do when it comes to writing. Drake writes a different way than I do. Doesn't mean he's wrong. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. But he will catch something. He will catch one of my mistakes. It could be just a comma in the middle of a sentence. or a colon or something like that to separate the sentences. It could be just as easy as that. And I would be thankful for Drake.
Yeah. So hope that answers your question, Makoto. I think that was a very good deep dive that we went on right there. But that's just the thing is that, and I think it goes hand in hand a little bit, maybe with MMA still just being a young sport. You know, it is still less than 30 years old, and as time goes on,
it hasn't been around.
Yeah. So,
I mean, when you look at like the top MMA people, who's known in like media, like all of media? Ara Helwani, maybe Okamoto, like
Luke,
even,
as you said,
and Luke probably, yes, because of his boxing and stuff. But like, there's guys like Kareem Zadine, should be known everywhere by literally every kind of sport and not sport media because of what he does, because of the type of writing that he does and how he does. But nobody knows who he is. Nobody knows who Kareem is, and he deserves that. He's the one MMA media person I think deserves the big push, but he's never going to get that, and I don't even know if he wants that.
Yeah, that'd be something to ask about him, and I feel like I think we probably know the answer, just judging by what we know about him, which there's nothing wrong with that. So it's there's many ways to approach this game, and that's nice, but also hurts it a little bit. So it's a little bittersweet, right? But just
for sure. I mean, it hurts. It hurts because it takes a lot more work. It takes a hell of a lot more work.
Right. James says MMA media equals instigate drama. That is a big part of it, which I hate, and I do my best to never do that. And that's one of the reasons, I'll tell you right now, you guys, and I've said this before in the past, I think, but that's one of the reasons that I hate, and I don't really go out of my way to break news. I've done it before, of course, but like I just hate being annoying and going, seeking that out. And sure, it's cool to be first. People love that, but I don't know. It's just, it doesn't make me feel very good. Like it just doesn't feel real, like a real interaction. And if somebody was coming to me like that, I'd be like, why should I fucking tell you? Why? Like who? Like one of those things, just, I don't know. I've always been that way.
If I was a fighter, I'd be like, well, go talk to my management.
Right.
It would be a very simple answer. And you and I, Drake, have talked about the whole breaking fight news thing. We've both done it. We've both broken fights or whatever, but it's not one of those things that it's fun. I think that's the fun thing to do. And I don't think that it's as far as media goes, I don't think it's the good thing.
It's just not a genuine interaction.
It's not genuine. To me. Yeah, it's not genuine. Whereas writing a story about somebody is.
Yeah, exactly. So many ways to look at it, but Stamina chiming in here.
It's less about it being a young sport and more about it, the exemplars in the field not being seen to raise the bar in that specific regard. Like Steve just said, Kareem is amazing and no one cares. I've literally probably read all of his articles, every single article, even articles I don't really care for the topic, I read because he deserves my respect.
Right. So when you're able to hit that, that's still a big accomplishment to hit that status. And
yeah, for sure. 100%. And he could do so good for himself out of MMA.
Oh yeah. Yeah, very smart guy. Very smart.
Not only that, but he has a way of telling a story that is like no other.
No.
Factual. He brings straight facts, dude, and that's what I like. I look for that. I look for that in articles that I read. Facts are the shit to me.
Facts are kind of important. Who would have thought?
But you see
I know.
a lot of people not implementing facts into their articles, and it makes me question them as a person right away.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely agree with that. So, all right. But Makoto does have some additional ones that are, springboarding off a little bit, and they still work without the context of the questionable tweets in question. He asks, Whaley doesn't say much or anything controversial, but still is willing to talk to media. Why do you think she seems to attract hate from the American media and fans for whatever she does or doesn't do? And I mean, I feel like we'll just be repeating ourselves a little bit, Steve. I don't know. It's still an odd thing to me. Like I personally, like I said, I don't see it too much compared to what you guys have presented us with. Like, you guys show us a lot of the nonsense. Like, honestly, like
I think Drake and I steer away from that. We've seen it a lot of bullshit in MMA media, and I think Drake and I just steer clear of all that kind of garbage crap now. So it's, if you guys put it in our face, then of course we'll watch it, listen to it, or and then talk about it. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand the Whaley thing. Really, I really don't.
Yeah, the most I've seen, obviously, is probably that she's made excuses for the loss, which is recent stuff. So, aside from that, I don't know, political things, which started from, what, don't even need to get into that anymore. Yeah. I think that we kind of know the answer to that for the most part. So, and Chuck agrees in the comments. But Makoto also asks, based on what I hear in interviews, she's passionate about MMA and trying to educate the people of China about the sport of MMA. Isn't that a good thing? Isn't that what most MMA fans want, to grow the sport? Absolutely. You would. I mean, good fans. There's obviously a lot of bad fans who are terrible individuals from what they will say in comments. But no, you're spot on. She is definitely very passionate about the sport. Tries to educate the people as best as she can. I think she's doing a fantastic job of that. It is a good thing indeed. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So the facts are, and Steve has said it several times, so I'll repeat his sentiments. Most of the MMA community is just a bunch of knuckle draggers, right? Just a bunch of Neanderthal asshole dudes who think they're better than everybody and can fight themselves when they really cannot. Which
probably have never been in a fight in their lives, outside of a brother or a sister.
Right.
Like it's not the same. It isn't the same. So you need to show the respect to these fighters, because they're doing things that, I mean, we're not doing them. We're not getting in there and fighting people for 3 rounds and for not good money.
Right. I hope that this is true. Ghost Phantom says MMA fans are toxic, but you guys haven't seen the level of evil in the chess community. I think that's the comment of the year, especially if it is true.
It's the chess. How bad is the chess community?
Oh my god. I gotta have to clip this scene. I love that Ghost Phantom. That's fantastic. But yeah, it's just you know the type of people that we have to deal with. So I think that's just how it goes. But all right. Moving on. No joke, he says. Well, we're gonna have to talk more about this in private because I'm very curious now. But we will carry on with the mailbag as our good old buddy Juicy Jackson, right? He dropped us one today, which is an interesting one.
Yeah. What is the biggest challenge promoters face in marketing women's MMA? Is it just their own LDE?
All right, so what does that stand for? I do not know.
LDE? I don't know what LDE is. I suppose I should have asked. Can we look it up really quick?
Okay. It's little dick energy. There we go. Does that make sense? Would that be the biggest challenge?
It's just their own little dick energy. What is the biggest challenge promoters face in marketing women's MMA?
I mean, maybe.
I think it's, yeah, it could be just their own little dick energy. But I also think that they tend to throw out the Valerie Loredas, and not the Virna Jandarobas.
Right, but that's not a challenge, though. That's just what they do.
It's a challenge because they make it their own challenge.
True, very true.
I don't know if the marketing in women's MMA is really a challenge.
Yeah, anymore, anyways, you know.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. It was, obviously. I mean, Dana White said for a long time that he would never have women's fights in the UFC until Ronda Rousey came around. But it's not the fact anymore, I don't think. I don't know. I don't know what the...
Yeah, I mean, if we had to pick, though, because it's just doesn't mean there is a big challenge anymore, because, yeah, I don't think that there necessarily is, but what would be the biggest one right now, Friendly Sparring Podcast, to give you an answer, I think that it might be, let's say, just a lack of maybe fighters or division, because my mind was trying to still tie in the LDE here because thinking of how the UFC has never done a full women's card. Like, for example, OJ Chilmatic right there throws out ONE FC, doing a great job with the Atomweight Grand Prix, doing One Empower, full women's card. And the reason I think we'd for sure get one of those, maybe if there were more divisions, there's only 4 in the UFC, 3. There's only 3.2, 3.2. It's not even 3.5.
Yeah.
So that obviously hurts, but promotionally, still not a huge deal. But more people, the easier it is. So I guess I don't think it's a big challenge overall, like we've been saying. But if there is one, I guess that'd be it. I guess there's a limit on the divisions in total. You just have, and this is worldwide. You just have atomweight, strawweight, flyweight, bantamweight, featherweight, and I'm not going to count lightweight because that's made up division pretty much. But that's just 5 compared to the men having 12. They have 12,
a bunch.
So yeah, I guess that'd be what I'd pick.
8 in the UFC, right?
Yeah.
8 or 9.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And they should probably do a couple more.
Yeah, it's possible. So, but yeah, it is what it is. All right. So, aside from that, we do got Yusuf questions, which are always excellent. Thank you, sir. And thank you, Juicy, for dropping them. And thank you, Makoto. Thank you, Ghost, as well.
Thank you.
All right, let's start off with this one, I guess, since it's on the top. So, getting creative. Here we are. Let's see. Is this everything? Yep. Okay. From Yusuf.
Whose style comes out on top if they came up against each other's style? Note, power is pound for pound. Height, reach, and size are the same. All right, so then he gives us matchups, and it looks like all women versus men.
But the power is the same, is why he notes that.
Is the same.
Okay.
Yes. And
that's kind of fun. This is very fantastical.
So Rose Namajunas versus Stephen Thompson, Wonder Boy. Wiley versus Figueredo. Should put Brandon Moreno in there. Valentina Shevchenko versus Israel Adesanya. That's a great fight. Pretty fun. Andrade versus Costa. Little T-Rex arms. Joanna versus Holloway. And Nunes versus Gaethje.
So, Yusuf, when you said height, reach, and size are the same, do you mean that the fighters are the same, or it's the same as it is in real life? What do you think he means by that? That they're equal? Because he then points out Izzy has 5-inch reach.
5-inch reach.
Because in that matchup, I mean, he just has too much distance on Valentina. He wins that for sure. Then you look at the other ones here: Rose versus Wonder Boy. But I'm just gonna assume that they have the same for the fun of it that way.
Yeah,
Wonder Boy.
I would assume that too.
It's OG traumatic because Val versus Izzy would look insane. Indeed, it would look very crazy.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Whaley versus Figueiredo. I would think I'd actually go Whaley just because we've seen Figueiredo struggle a bit on the ground, getting taken down a little bit.
Yeah.
On the feet, that's very fun.
Agree. Andrade
versus Costa. I know Steve's picking Andrade. And
okay, Yusuf says size and height is the same. Power works pound for pound, not the same.
Okay. All right. Well.
Yep.
All right. I'm still a little bit confused, but I'm just gonna go along with it. Joanna versus Holloway. Probably Holloway. Nunes, Gaethje, ridiculous. Nunes.
Nunes there, I guess. I would go.
Yeah, this one is way out there, Yusuf.
He has 6 matchups. All right, so I would go Wonder Boy, top Wonder Boy. Whaley, Adesanya probably. Andrade definitely, because fuck Costa.
You see his new hair transplant?
God, I hate that fucking guy. Holloway, I guess. I mean, Joanna is really good, obviously striking. But Holloway probably, and then Nunes for sure. So out of the 6, 3 of the women and 3 of the men.
How about that?
Well, Stamina is probably still scratching his head.
Yeah, surely. All right, we'll move on from that. Good fun though. Really makes you think. All right, so this is a good one. I gave this one a like because I thought it was funny. Why does Steve always wear a cap? # no cap.
I don't know. I mean, it's just part of who I am. I have really long hair right now. This is long hair for me. I don't know. It's just who I am, I guess. I wear hats, guys. I don't know. I've been wearing hats for years now, so I don't think I'm just gonna throw out my hats.
Show the people the hair again, Steve. Come on.
Oh yeah. The beautiful
going.
hair.
It's going.
Well, it's going because I'm making it go. it was fine until I took off my hat and started
Right.
screwing with it.
You look like a racer head.
You want that, Yusuf? You want that on screen?
You like that?
Is that what you like, Yusuf?
Do you like that? Oh man. All right.
If CM Punk had beaten Mike Jackson, oh god, would that have been more credible win than Shields beating Elkin? Oh Jesus Christ.
That's a good question.
CM Punk. I never thought we would be talking about CM Punk on this show. I
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess because CM Punk had absolutely zero, any kind of background, martial arts background prior to.
But in terms of comparing Jackson and Elkin, though, as opponents, it's kind of what I'm thinking. Jackson, not that great. Yeah, right. Probably worse than Elkin. I mean, if you're going to look at
Elkin at least supposedly was a brown belt jiu-jitsu. We didn't see it, and I mean, it didn't show at all in the fight. But supposedly, she has a brown belt, right?
Yeah, and 3 wins to Jackson's. What, he was 1-1 with a loss to Mickey Gall, a very easy loss to Mickey Gall before that CM Punk fight. That's pretty close. I don't know. They're probably even. I don't care, Yusuf. Good to see you, Suki. Terrible timing.
Who is CM Punk? He's
don't worry about it.
Professional wrestler who went and fought a couple of times. He probably didn't deserve to fight at all, ever. I mean, James, are we really calling him an MMA fighter, though? I don't think.
More recently been a fighter than a wrestler. Oh man, I apologize, Suki. Blame Yusuf for that. Anyway, second part to this is: would Kanako beat Jan and Marina due to their poor takedown defense?
Probably not.
Well, the thing is,
probably not Marina.
Yeah, I think that Kanako definitely can beat both of them. She can beat anybody with her wrestling. Obviously just some tougher ones like the Durns and Jandarobas, as we've seen. But Marina, I think she's continuously shown she's been working on the takedown defense because that's just what she needs to work on, as we've seen in most of her, especially her early UFC career. But now we've seen her defending a lot better. And yes, Kanako is a different breed on the ground, so she would still get taken down for sure. But I think she's more capable of getting back up now and just defending better than kind of what we saw from, if we're going to go from shouting on in this last fight with Carla. So would Kanako beat them? She could. Would she? I don't know. I don't know. I love all 3 of them, though, so you're not going to get an answer out of me.
I think that Kanako beats Xiaonan just because of what we saw against Carla Esparza. And Kanako could do the same thing, I guess. I mean, I would hope that she would take it to the ground after seeing that happen. But Marina, man, that girl.
And in terms of like frame and everything too, it's Marina's a big strawweight.
Yeah, she is. She's kind of, Marina's legit. Like, Xiaonan is good, obviously, but Marina, dude, she's up. She's getting very, very close to a title fight.
Very close, very, very close indeed. Right there. So
she's at that line right now where if they put her in the title fight, dude, I would be totally fine with it. I would be like, thank God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's somebody refreshing, somebody who's really good. I would be okay with the fight. But if they put, had Kanako beat Virna, then I would be like, well, not yet. Whereas Marina, I'd be like, yes, title fight.
Yeah. And her versus Rose is like a fight that, I mean, Marina against pretty much anybody is guaranteed to be fantastic, but like, Jesus, that's a good one. And Joanna and Xiaonan Weili. I mean, so many fantastic matchups to be made. But
I agree with Makoto. Dern versus Marina should have happened. Yeah.
Still can. Still might.
Still can. It can. Yeah. They're definitely, those are two trains that are definitely going head to head as far as a push from the UFC.
Well, shameless plug. If you guys saw my chat with Marina, which is out now on SCMP MMA's YouTube channel, we talked about it, and she said she's totally still down to make the fight. It's just, she wants a full camp. She deserves a full camp. Make it happen in September. She's down for it. She's training for it. If the opponent changes, she'll adjust. But so we could very well still get that. It just would have to be on Marina's time. She's calling her shots, and I think she's earned it. So, yeah. And Suki is asking about the CM Punk fights. Yeah, just don't waste your time there. Especially not the Jackson one. The Gall one, sure, you can laugh at that one, but don't
waste your time. There are so many reasons to watch MMA. CM Punk is not the one.
No, unless it's LFA, or which one does he commentate for?
Yeah, he doesn't do. He does. What does he do? And actually,
CFFC. That's what it is.
Yeah, CFFC. He does actually a decent job at that.
Yeah, he's actually.
But it's for his fighting. No. He's not even a fighter, dude. He's not a fighter.
Yes, he's very bad, Suki. But Stamina already answered this third part for. He answered it himself, saying, "Please no to thoughts on Dern versus Weili, #1 contender fight next." And Yusuf wants a breakdown. I'm going to tell you, man, I save my breakdowns for fights that are actually set to happen, so I'm going to hold on that part. But thoughts on Dern versus Weili as the next #1 contender bout? I don't hate it, but again, as we've mentioned, in the fallout of Weili losing, I think she has to work for it a little bit. Just because she wasn't a long champion, didn't have a whole bunch of defenses, I'd say give her 2 more wins until a title shot, depending on who she beats. Right now, I think if you're going to look at the freshest contenders, obviously we're just talking about Marina. It's Marina and Dern are, I guess they're the 2 right now. Yeah, unless I'm completely blanking on somebody who's in there. Yes, Joanna's hanging around. But yeah, I would say no. It's Dern versus Marina would be next. Weili can fight somebody else. Yeah, I mean, you could. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at it, but the right one to do to say the #1 contender fight is clearly the 2 fighters who are rising up there and have yet to fight for a title. I think Dern and Marina's next in line for sure. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would be fine with that fight. I wouldn't
be mad with anything that happens.
I would also be fine with Dern and Weili. I like that fight as well.
Yeah. So see how it all shakes out. And here's a good question for Suki from which everybody should answer. Give your picks in there, and I'm seeing you already throw them in there, but I'll go Watterson and Penne there for you. Go check that one out. There's a whole lot.
I put Weili versus Joanna. I think that's the most recent one that should be watched by everybody.
Yeah,
coming into MMA, because they're both relevant right now. More so, Weili I think is more relevant. Joanna's
right,
not relevant really at this point, but.
Angela Lee and Zhang Jingnan, both of those fights, instant classics.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
But you go recent, like you can go Angela Hill and Michelle Watterson.
Also good.
What are some other recent ones that were good? Carlos Esparza and Yan Xiaonan. That was a really good one. I like that one a lot.
Son of a bitch. Verna and Dern. You can go check out Verna and Dern.
Verna and Dern. Verna Jandiroba and Mackenzie Dern was a very good fight. No, Makoto, not Ronda Rousey and Holm. That's not a good fight at all. But you can go Rousey and Misha Tate.
The first one's better than the second one. Even though I'm a Misha fan, I just gotta call it how it is.
That's true. The first one was better than the second one. Yeah, agree.
But it was crazy. But
there's so many. There's so many
options.
So many great. I mean, keep listing them for though, guys. Keep listening for.
Indeed. All right, one more from Yusuf, and then I think that closes up the mailbag. We can get on to the quick news. And as you can see right there, what you're most excited for, I'm sure, everybody. All right, what do we got here? I haven't read this one. Oh, yes, I kind of skimmed over it, but here we are, Steve.
Give me one thing you both hope happens in women's MMA this year. It can be a fight, a moment, adding a division, anything really. For Yusuf says, all I want is Tatiana Suarez competing, ideally at strawweight, more than once without getting injured, and hashtag smash everybody.
That's not a bad pick.
That's what I want too. You guys know. You guys are here, have been here long enough to know who Drake and I like a lot, and what we would want now. I want Tatiana Suarez to come back to compete, man. It looks like we're gonna get it. Hopefully, it comes to fruition.
Yeah, just at flyweight instead, potentially.
I don't care where. I know. Yusuf says, ideally at strawweight. It doesn't matter to me. Wherever she is healthiest at.
You see Yusuf's suggestions here of Holm versus Rousey, Nunes versus Rousey Classic. Oh, I love his troll game on you. It's just too good.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. Let's see how it is. But the number one thing that I want to happen most this year, I want Yan Xiaonan and Kanako to rebound and fight in the title fight. One of them is champion, of course. No. I mean, that would be lovely, but to be serious, I think it would be incredible. And just, I can't imagine. I can't think of any time we've seen something like what it would be. And I don't even know if it can happen in this time frame of this year, but Sohee Ham going to 1 and winning the tournament and then dethroning Angela Lee would be pretty insane. That'd be pretty insane. Just from a story perspective, she's already the Korean MMA GOAT.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, she's arguably the atomweight GOAT. Still Hamasaki for me. One of the best fighters ever, period. You want to really run that shit home, you go and just run the table in 1, take everything that they got. That would be nuts. I
think that she's capable too. She's very capable.
No, it's very possible, which is why it's like, damn. So I think for me that's what I would pick, just because that would be insane.
Oh man, OG Traumatic just said, Hom versus Stamp. Oh, dude.
And that could happen.
You're talking to my heart with that one.
If they both win their first fights, that'll happen.
Yeah, that's straight up taking my heart.
And that should happen, actually. That, if you think about it, like Ham versus Zamboanga, Ham should win, and then Stamp versus Rossohino, who she was beating for 3 minutes and 4:59. She tapped at the very last second and was on her way to winning. So, yeah, I think that is going to happen. So it will be fun, but Yeah, man.
I love that.
Yeah, that would be nuts. And Chuck agrees. If Ham did that, I could stop following the sport out of contentment. Yeah, that would be, my goodness. My goodness.
So he said adding division, of course, the atom weight division would be
Right.
great. Get rid of 145. Get rid of 145. Bring in the atom weight division. There's a whole world out there for the UFC. But again, that would take away from all the greatness that we're seeing right now already in that division, in the whole world, in the rest of the world. So honestly, like, I would be okay with the UFC not having the atomweight division.
Yep. Yeah.
But I would love if they did.
Yeah. I think we're in a good spot with atomweight for the most part. Ryzen's kind of at that point now where they're desperately needing the international travel to come back, because everyone's kind of fought each other. But aside from that, yeah, things are looking pretty good. UFC as a platform for atomweights would be sensational, but as we've talked about many times, not sure we trust them to not fuck it up.
Don't trust them because of what they've done with the 145 division.
Yeah, and it's like they're not going to get Ham and Hamasaki at this point anyway, so it's just going to be propaganda of them trying to tell us who the best is when we know it's not. And yeah, Chuck agrees. After I came on his channel,
we've been saying that for a long time though. Like I've been saying that for a very long time. I just don't trust the UFC anymore with new divisions, especially a new women's division.
Yeah, and one that has so many Asian-based fighters, and promotionally how much more difficult that is for the UFC to promote because of lack
it's
of
not
English
easy just bringing in a whole new division. Like, look what has happened with 145. It's not easy bringing in a whole new division. I do think that there's more
unique case, Steve.
I think that there is more out there for the in atom weights than 145. Of course, women are smaller than men. 145 is pretty large for a woman. Pretty big women at 145. But atom weight is special, I think. Tiny women. Very fun. I would love to see the UFC do it. I just don't trust them. I don't trust them at all. They will find a way to fuck it up. They will find a way to fuck it up and make it bad. And I don't want that for that division because it's going great in other promotions.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens, but definitely not trying to think about that too much at this stage. But yeah, a lot of possibilities though, Yusuf. And that question was directed for this year too. And if that happens, I don't think it'll be this year.
No.
Yeah, by this point we're halfway through, which is crazy to say that we're halfway through 2021. But yeah, so that was the Twitter mailbag, you guys. Loaded bag this weekend. Thank you so much, Yusuf, Ghost Phantom, Makoto, and Friendly Sparring Podcast. Yes, for the mail. Appreciate it greatly. All right, let's get on with the rest of the show, as we got just a little bit of news, and some news that I just can't get excited for, Steve, because I'm not going to believe it's going to happen until the fighters are in the cage. But I know that you're probably still a little bit excited for reasons, but I can't get excited until we're there. So here we are.
I think that's, for me, that's what it is. It's just getting there.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nico Montano against Yang Wu is set for UFC Vegas 34 in August, or on August 1st. I'm a big Nico fan. I want to see her fight, obviously, but until, like Drake said, until she's in the cage, I won't believe it is happening at this point.
Yeah.
And that makes me sad, like saying that. That makes me really sad.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's definitely very upsetting, but got to step back a little bit because Stamina calling me out. Where was my suggestion? Well, it was a suggestion. It wasn't a question necessarily. Stamina, I responded to you, and did you see his suggestion, Steve?
I didn't.
Stamina.
Is it under my tweet
yes,
or what?
Yes, it is.
All
so
right.
In the mailbag, Stamina did throw something in. He made a suggestion of us bringing in a scrap packer for maybe one episode out of the month. We have some random chaos. Bring in you guys, one of y'all, into the madness, if you would like, of course.
This should have been the week that we did it.
I know. I was telling you, I was like, hey, Chuck, you want to hop in for the Deep Jewel stuff? I mean, maybe we can come in next week. Not so prepared, but Sam and I on the same page there, thinking about that. So, yeah, if Steve's cool with it, then we'll make it work.
But Salmon is like, yeah, I'm clearly the first guy to come on.
Right. So, all right, you're welcome there. I read it. You happy? No, I had been thinking about something similar to that as well. So, yes, Stamina, by default, you will have to be the first one. So let us know when you want to hop on. If you're always
a big card, do a big card with us.
Yeah, do a big one.
Do a big one, a big event card, and then a big news week and all that
fun stuff.
But Stamina, your hours are weird. So
he shows up.
He does show up, but I mean, I don't know, like if you're even wide awake right now.
You know what, Stamina? If you're awake enough right now, you want to come on in for the previews? Should we let him in for the previews?
Let's do it. If he wants to. If he wants to come in.
Perfect time. Choo-choo.
Stamina's like, look, dude, I'm in my pajamas right now.
He's just chilling. Wow, the indignity. Fucking sigh. He wasn't thinking of himself. He's a lot of things, but he's not vain. Well, could have fooled me. I'm just kidding. But
Yusuf's always like, look, guys, you guys always talk about Stamina being in England. So am I, motherfuckers.
I know.
Yusuf always says that. Like, I'm here too.
Yeah, very true. That's why he trolls you so much. Not giving him the respect. Yeah, both of you guys, indeed. But anyway, as for Nico, completely on the same page here with you. I mean, I don't hate the fight. I think it'll be fun. All Nico fights are fun if you kind of remember them.
Like it's a good fight. It's just getting to that fight.
It's just getting there.
Yeah.
August 1st isn't super far away, but far enough away.
Far enough, bro. You can say,
a week would be far enough.
Yeah, exactly. You can say Nico's fighting next week, and I'd be like, are you sure she's fighting next week?
Right. So yeah, we'll wait and see. But I saw, what was it right here? OG Traumatic throwing in some fear. If Nico loses, he thinks she will get cut. And it's kind of hard not to disagree with that.
I mean, that's where we are right now with her, I guess. Do I want to see that? No, I don't. But, I mean, you got to be realistic with shit.
Yeah. And she's been training at a Syndicate lately. Have you seen that? We're putting in good work with Ramona, JoJo, Whitmire.
She has been for months.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, that's good to see. Just got to get back in there, Nico. Got to get back in there.
Yeah.
Crazy. So, fingers crossed for that one. Knocking on wood. We will keep waiting. But aside from that, interesting matchup made in Bellator. Curious to hear your guys' thoughts. But here we are, Steve.
Yeah, Arlene Blanco versus Diana Silva. That's at Bellator 262 in July. That's a great picture of Blanco.
She's got the Batman logos.
Yeah, it's a great picture of her. Yeah, it's a fun fight. I like this fight. I'm happy to see Blanco back in there.
Yeah, and she's been sticking around. She's down in New Mexico, Greg Jackson's gym, Jackson Wink, training with Holly, all that. So putting in the time there, which is no problem at all.
We were actually just talking about Blanco last
week.
What was it? Last week or the week before, wondering when she's going to come back.
Right. And taking on still the newbie, Diana Silva, who, arguably should have beaten Bud in a fight that should not have been competitive. Wow. Chaos. Wow. So against somebody like Blanco, I stylistically and motivationally, maybe, I expect her to have far less success. We'll see. Maybe Diana Silva will surprise us again.
But yeah, exactly. But also, Bud is a champion, a former champion. So that shouldn't have happened, but it did.
Yeah. So
Silva's riding a high wave right now.
Even though just being competitive at all with Bud.
Even though she lost the fight with Bud, she built herself up to a fight with Blanco after that. Bud lost.
Yeah, very.
Had she gotten beat badly by Bud, she wouldn't be fighting Blanco right now.
No, it's like she's not being thrown back down to where she normally would have. Right. Like you look at, that happens sometimes where a fighter comes in maybe awkwardly, short notice or something like that, and then of course they get a bigger name, and then they drop back down. Like who's a great example of that? Joe Soto is an extreme one. Lando Venata against Tony Ferguson. There's a couple like that, but Blanco is always.
That's crazy that he even fought for a title.
I know, very crazy. But
I was there.
Were you there for that one? That was in.
It was in Sacramento.
Okay, nice, very nice. Yeah, so somewhat similar with Silva, except not because she's sticking around the top, and this will be good opportunity for her. But yeah, I'm happy to see Blanco back, and not too long after her last fight. So. And with all this training spent at Jackson Wink should be interesting. So,
she's training with some of the best. Obviously, Holly Holm is one of the best women fighters in the world. So, can't hurt her to be at Jackson Wink. But also, Jackson Wink isn't one it used to be either.
Yeah, very true. But Yusuf going back to Nico asking why would they cut a former champ? Because of all of the fight cancellations and activity. If she loses, her last fight was still that Pena one, wasn't it? Which was too long ago. And James, though, with a nice positive line of thinking, saying hopefully Nico does not get cut. There are a lot more fighters that deserve that. And I know who you guys will mention, but it's just been the worst luck maybe in UFC history for Nico. Goodness gracious. But yeah, we'll see. And Stamina says Nico is huge right now. Quietly concerned for her. She's got some time. We'll see. And Sammy saying Arlene adding the oblique kick. That's a nice weapon to add to her arsenal. That's for sure. So
she's getting better and better.
Yeah, which is scary thought for those featherweights. But Arlene Blanco, always a good time. So there we have it. Your 2 bits of news for the week, you guys. Very quiet. Yeah, but still better than nothing. We got some previews to get to. 3 events this week. PFL 6, Bellator 261, the big one. UFC Vegas 30.
With only starting. One fight?
Yep, just one. And starting with, I think, a good old fun and relatively easy to pick PFL 6, Steve. So coming up on Thursday.
Yeah. Kayla Harrison returns.
Yep, they all do. It's main eventing.
Cindy Dandois. Poor Cindy.
Poor Cindy. But we'll start off from the bottom to go up to the top. And I really hope that this isn't the card placement. This isn't official, because the fucking disrespect to put Caitlin Young at number 2 after winning her first fight would just rattle. That would grind my gears, I tell you, if she is the second fight.
Didn't PFL switch it up last week too? No. So they don't put out their actual lineup until they put it out, like,
yeah, pretty much
over social media and stuff. So I think this is just a guess.
Yeah, it could be a little bit random, but either way, Caitlin Young, Mariana Moraes. Mariana is, of course, the former flyweight who got absolutely bludgeoned by Kayla last time out. Caitlin put on a pretty vintage striking Viking performance against Cindy Dandois, who is now taking on.
You could see the same thing happening.
Right. They have flip-flopped in opponents. Caitlin Young should win this fight relatively easily. Do her thing, superior striker, size advantage, even on the ground. She should be able to, handle Mariana, I think. But yeah, pretty. These matchups just don't make a lot of sense to me, but they're doing what they're doing. Caitlin Young, she's just better everywhere. I'm gonna say she'll finish it. She'll round 2 TKO. She'll find it.
Yep. Round number 2. We didn't see anything from Rice. There was literally nothing, and Caitlin Young can do the same exact thing to her, which is terrible for Marias. Terrible.
And that's what you get being thrown into this wonky lightweight tournament. But Jimmy, not gonna lie, these 2 fights at 155 do not interest me. Don't blame you. Don't blame you. I'm always interested to see Caitlin Young, but I totally hear what you're saying.
I'm fine with it, and I'm fine with watching Taylor Guardado and Laura Sanchez fight as well. I'm good with these fights, but 155 is not a division. It's not a good division. It will never be a good division.
Exactly. So, yeah. As for, are you agree with my Young TKO round 2?
Round 2. Yep.
Okay.
I put up a 2 before you even said it.
Yep. So
I'm going Caitlin Young TKO round 2.
And then as for Guardado versus Sanchez, surprisingly, when I was looking at the odds for the weekend, this one was actually, I think, the closest, Sanchez and Guardado. And
yep.
I guess that's fine. But when you look at their last performances, Sanchez against Jenna Fabian, she just seemed very gun shy, right? Like I don't think she looked bad overall, and we talked about this afterward, but she just did not pull the trigger at all. So if she can change that up this time out, she can.
We know that she's tough as shit.
Yes, we know that. And Guardado, though, who is one of the smaller statured lightweights here, and has fought at 135 in the past. Before this, she went out there and beat Helena Kolesnik and outgrappled her. Beat her pretty much everywhere for the most part. And Laura Sanchez is 6 feet tall. So I think size should not be an issue for Guardado. Again, if she looks the same as she did last time, she'll be able to get Sanchez down, do her thing there. So yeah, I'm gonna take Guardado by unanimous decision. I don't think she'll find a finish, but I think she'll win again.
Yeah, I'll go with Guardado decision. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Sanchez.
She just needs to get aggressive, I think. That was her biggest issue.
Throw your hands a little bit. Use your length. Dude, she's got long legs. Use them.
Yeah, especially in this matchup. That would be a very good idea. So
they're about even. They're about even in like how they know how to fight,
Experience, yeah.
Experience levels the same. I don't know. Sanchez could win this, I guess, but I'm just not excited, dude. Like, I'm not excited. I'm not excited for these fights. I'm not.
No, I mean, I feel like
PFL has really given me like a shrinkage issue.
Fair.
Like I want to like PFL, but I'm just not into it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what has changed me either.
I think that after the first lightweight event, it really made this one just not appealing. The way they matched them up, with like the losers and the winners going against each other, like just odd to me. I don't know. I get they're doing what they're doing.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me, knowing and thinking and then knowing that Kayla Harrison is
there's that too.
Just Kayla Harrison's gonna win again.
There's also that in the back of the mind.
I don't know. I should be more excited for Caitlin Young.
Yes, indeed.
I should be more excited for that fight. I should be more excited for Jenna Fabian.
Speaking of Jenna Fabian versus Julia Pajic, however you say her name.
I should be excited for Fabian. I'm just not excited for this fight for this card. And I didn't even watch PFL last week at all. And I like Rory McDonald.
Ray Cooper.
I didn't watch it.
That was actually, that was a solid card, actually. Even though Rory got robbed and all that fun stuff. Crazy.
I didn't even watch it, though. I don't know. And it's on a Thursday night, right? Nothing's going on, really.
Yeah.
It's not like there's football on for me to watch.
Yeah, not yet.
I don't know I don't even know what I was doing instead of watching PFL.
Just hanging out.
I don't know. What was I even doing? I don't remember, to be honest.
So, Yulia. All right. Apologies, Stamina. I get it mixed up with Stoliarenko, who will be fighting later. I mean, we'll be talking about later, but Jenna Fabian should win this. Yulia is not good. That's just
she's not there. Look, this is such a marketable fight. Like as far as the two of them, the two women in the fight, very marketable. But come on, Caitlin Young should be fighting. If this is the bout order, Caitlin Young should be fighting up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, Yulia might be easily the worst fighter in the tournament. I know Moraes is clearly outsized and not fit here either, but at least she's got a whole lot more experience. Yulia, they just kind of brought in, I think, because she had that silly woman versus man fight, which wasn't even a thing really. But Jenna Fabian should have her way. I think this is probably going to look the same way as the Pacheco fight, probably, if not pretty similar. Fabian might even knock her out on the feet. That's what I'm going to go with. First round knockout, maybe TKO knockout. It's not lasting past a round.
It's so funny that they have number one woman, Europe Balkans, next to her name, because there aren't any others.
Right. Oh man, that is hilarious. Yeah, that's literally it. So, assuming you agree with my pick there, Steve.
Oh yeah, Fabian's got to finish this fight. She has to, early, round 1, round 2. If it goes the distance, I'll be fucking shocked.
That's a loss for Fabian in our hearts, in our heads.
She isn't good.
No. So, all right. Then we move on to Pacheco versus Kolesnik, as you see right there. And
not excited. Again, not excited for this fight. Like, Pacheco doesn't excite me at all.
No. Yeah, and Makoto, I know. That's what I was gonna say. So whoa, Drake, after we talked about disrespecting fighters, I didn't get to say it because we just kind of got carried away. But I was like, yes, I know. Even on this show, I will say some things. Everyone knows I don't think my feelings on Jessica but it's like we say some things sometimes. So I'm just being real, man. I'm not calling it how it is. Hey, it could have been worse. It could have been those tweets you sent me. So tease for everybody again. But yeah, Pacheco and Kolesnik. Kolesnik is fine on the feet. That's her area of expertise, obviously. But again, Pacheco is just kind of like, I was looking at a record earlier, and it's kind of funny. She actually typically only loses to
Kayla Harrison.
Well, yes, yeah, people that she should lose to, like she's lost to GDR. She lost to, I don't think she fought Nunes, but some names, like very notable names, are her only 4 losses. I'm trying to remember who.
And
it was Andrade, I think, maybe Andrade.
Yeah, I think it is Andrade.
Yeah.
Yet it isn't. She isn't. We're not excited for her.
Right.
She loses to good fighters, but we don't even know who she is still. We only know her as the woman who has lost to good fighters.
Yeah. So she's got the grappling edge here, though, and we saw in Kolesnik's last fight that she couldn't keep Guardado off of her on the feet. Pacheco will be able to hang if she wants to. I mean, what she dropped Yulia, and then that's how it ended on the ground, that she beat her up after that. So Pacheco does pack some power. And her striking is just fine. She shouldn't have any trouble here whatsoever. I think she'll probably, get it to the ground at some point and pound out Kolesnik. First round again, I think, TKO. That'll be 12 points for Pacheco, in my opinion. We're probably going to get that trilogy fight, Steve.
Ridiculous, man.
Maybe we'll see what happens. But
I want her to lose. I want Kolesnik to win just because I'm tired of Pacheco.
Change things up. Yeah. But you agree with that one too? We all on the same page here? Pretty easy to pick.
Yeah. I mean, these are very easy fights to pick.
Indeed, they are. And it only gets easier as we go to the main event. Cindy versus Kayla Harrison.
Big Lance Palmer fan. Didn't know he was fighting this card.
Yeah. Taking on undefeated Kai Belayev.
Yeah. That's tough for Palmer.
Oh, it's because it got moved. That's right. It was supposed to be on the other card, right? So that's why it's here.
Yeah.
But yeah. So James, hold on real quick. How would you guys fix the 155 division to be more interesting? Get rid of it. Get rid of it. There's nothing you can do. There's just not enough actual 155 fighters. All of these women.
They're all bantamweights except for Kayla Harrison.
Cindy Dandois. Pacheco. Kolesnik, featherweight. I don't think she can go below that, but featherweight. Yulia, doesn't matter. Fabian, featherweight. Guardado, former bantamweight. Sanchez, featherweight as well. Caitlin Young, bantamweight and featherweight. Moraes, flyweight. None of these are real lightweights except for Kayla Harrison, who even now can make featherweight. So,
yeah,
you got to just stop. Just stop. Stamina's fallen asleep. I don't blame him. But Ghost with a good point. This is the perfect chance for Kayla Harrison to practice her striking. Yeah, to practice it indeed. And funny enough, that's the funny thing, right? Is Cindy Dandois' best chance here is on the ground because she is a very good grappler. That's pretty much all that she has. And she knows it. She's even admits, her strike is not the best. We've seen it. And despite it looking, I gave it a smidge better in that Caitlin Young fight. That doesn't mean much at all. She was very aggressive, which I found very interesting. But her best chance is on the ground, pull something off. But again, that's with Kayla on the ground, so it kind of negates. So
Yeah.
And I tweeted out before we went live here.
Shit off.
Ain't pulling it off. I tweeted out before we went live that it's really funny kind of to see people say shit about Cindy and getting this fight and her chances and all that, which she doesn't have a very good chance. Don't get me wrong. I fully expect her to lose this. But in reality, she's like the best, at least most experienced fighter Kayla's fought so far in her career, aside from Pacheco. Those are the two far and away the top two. So in terms of a name on Kayla's record, this is easily going to be the best one, which still take it for what you will. But yeah, out of this tournament, I think clearly the best chance is still with Caitlin Young and her striking to do something to Kayla on the feet. And so hopefully we get to see that. But as for this one, Kayla, they'll go to the ground at some point. And when they do, Kayla will just be too big, too strong, just better. We know that. Even though Cindy is solid on the ground as well. But yeah, I'm taking Kayla with a second round submission. I think I believe that she will play on the feet a little bit, like you're saying there, Ghost. Maybe try some things out, and Cindy will last to the second round, and that's where it'll end. So
yeah. I mean, just not into it. Bored.
It's all winners versus losers. That's why I think
that's stupid to me. You should. If it's a real tournament, winners should be fighting winners, not winners versus losers.
Save it for the playoffs. I think that's the idea there.
Yeah, but that's dumb.
It's not interesting. Yeah, at this stage, it's not very interesting.
So that's not a real tournament. Don't sell it as a tournament if you're just going to throw whatever the fuck matchup you want to throw. It's not a tournament.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. So, what round do you think for Kayla?
I think that Cindy is good enough to get out of the first round. I think that she's tough enough to take the damage that Kayla will put on her. She's a tough girl. I hate to see a teacher get so beat up so badly. But it's gonna happen. Kayla Harrison's gonna put it on her. Second round ground and pound.
There you go. Steve and I are virtually identical, and I dare say bordered. We are identical, actually. I think everything in terms of finishing the rounds, all of that. So
you actually talked this card up more than what I would have. I would have just been like doing my picks and moved on.
You're like, all right. Yeah, I spent too much time, honestly. It's definitely too much time there.
Dude, literally nobody in our chat is talking right now. They're bored.
They're like, let's move on to the real deal.
The sleeping emoji.
They fall asleep on us.
Bored. They're bored.
So time to wake up, everybody, because you know what's coming here. You know what's coming. The whole reason you show up every single week. So Bellator 261 preview before we get to the main event of the weekend. We do have strawweight action, the return of Lena Ovchinnikova, Steve, as well as Kyra Batara, who I know you're quite familiar with. Yeah.
2019. It's been so long for Kyra. I'm happy that she's back. I'm really happy. I don't like to fight for her, but she's back. 2019. It's been a long time for Kyra. I want her to win. I really want Kyra to. She's still just 26 years old.
I didn't realize that.
And it's been so long. It's been so long. She's been in MMA. Man, I want Kyra to win, and I'm fuck it. I'm going Kyra. Kyra's gonna win this shit. I'm putting it out there. Kyra wins this fight. Stops the madness with Bellator being high on people and ranking them and all that garbage when they don't deserve to be.
No, this is interesting indeed. Lena coming back. What is it? It's all practically 2 years for her too. I can't believe that Kay Jackson fight was that long ago. And it's going to be at strawweight. I mean, didn't Kyra? She used to be an atomweight, didn't she? She's tiny.
Yeah.
From the Combate days there.
It literally says 4'11" there.
Oh my goodness. Jeez, this fight's gonna look hilarious, dude. Lena's 5'6". Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah. She's gonna have her work cut out for her, but
She is. I'm happy that Kyra's back in the cage. Really happy that she's back in the cage.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe the weight cut will take a toll on Lena. Been a while, and I don't know if she's fought at strawweight before, so interesting that she is willing to go down here. She's always a very fun fighter to watch, though. I've always enjoyed when Ovchinnikov in there. Very fun striking to watch.
She's a good fighter, but she's not Kyra Batara.
But she's not Kyra Batara, so I think that
for me.
Yeah, I think on the ground obviously is where Kyra's best chances are. So we'll see if she can do it, but I'm gonna be a little bit more realistic here. Steve picking with the heart. I'm gonna pick with the head, and I think Lena is just gonna be physically too much in this matchup, and
it's possible.
Yeah, she'll have her way on the feet.
She's definitely gonna be so much bigger.
It's gonna look pretty interesting. So, but Kyra's very tough. I think she'll survive. So Lena, unanimous decision for me. I like this fight though. It's very freak show-ish. Yeah, indeed.
It's not freak show-ish.
I mean, 4'11", 5'6". It's gonna look silly. It's gonna look silly, but all right.
They don't have a bantamweight division. I mean, atomweight division.
True. All right, but there we go. We'll move on because I know the people are anticipating. Let's get on to it. Honestly, it is the real main event for me because I really don't care too much for that interim heavyweight title fight. Johnson and Moldavsky is like, okay, I like Moldavsky a little bit, but I don't really care still. So it's the Kana show, you guys.
Yeah, but she's going up against Liz Carmouche, who is incredibly tough and durable. Has been in there with some of the best. I know y'all are really high on Kana Watanabe, but Liz Carmouche is a very tough fight for her.
Yes, she is. As we roll through all the comments, everybody's got something to say. The real question is, why isn't Bellator hyping this up? That is actually a very good question.
They don't hype anything up, really, to be honest.
They're not great at it.
They don't do a remarkable job in hyping fights up. And even though it is the co-main event, I don't know. They just don't do a good job in hyping fights up. It's just not their thing.
The funny thing is, as well, like, this fight is clearly the next title contender.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
So, I mean, I'm sure they'll talk it all up on fight night, but like, man, they just really don't help. Who listens to Josh Johnson? People who have to.
Hit that mute button on that motherfucker.
Yeah, so I don't know why they don't, but Kana's doing a good job. She's always good at hyping her own fights up, and obviously you guys are excited. We're excited. Anyone who follows, I think, the women and just MMA in general is pretty excited for this fight because of, it's very fresh, very unique matchup. I never thought, I just didn't have a feeling that we'd ever see something like Kana versus Liz Carmouche happen, and here we are.
Man, I am okay with it though. I like the fight. I like Liz Carmouche. I like Kana. Like I like this fight a lot.
Yeah.
And literally the only reason why I'm watching Bellator, probably.
Yeah. And Kyrie Batara.
Probably the only reason I know Bellator is even on.
But in this fight, Steve, this is two grapplers. So this is a fight, though, where I feel pretty comfortable in saying we will see grappling in this fight.
I would hope so. You would hope with the grappling that these two women have in their arsenal, you would hope that it goes to the ground. But it's kind of like the Jandiroba and Mackenzie Dern thing, where they know what each other's strengths are, so they're a little bit reluctant in going to the ground with each other. I don't know.
Yeah. So the big decider in this fight, I think, is simply going to be the strength. Yeah. Who is stronger? Who is stronger? Because
Liz Carmouche is really strong. I think that Kana is stronger.
It's tough to tell. I mean, we'll find out. But
yeah,
the thing about that is, like, Kana off her back, I just can't. She's very flexible. We've seen it in her last two fights in particular, but
yeah,
she's gotten close to some submissions, but off her back, I mean, we've never even really seen that too much. And against somebody like Liz, I don't know if, Liz is just so experienced. Seeing her get caught, I can't really see it. And
she's really smart. She's an incredibly smart fighter, and she's been in there with some of the best.
Yeah,
and she knows what it is to win and lose. Battles, the battles inside of the cage.
Exactly. And Sammy pointing this out too, which is kind of the same line. I'm thinking the big decider for him is who gets the better position, which comes down to the strength. And I'm thinking like whoever is stronger and they get that best position, they're going to hold it there, right? Like, I don't think it's going to be, it very well could be so close that it's like, all right, we're going back and forth a lot, which would be awesome actually in terms of a fun fight. But
yeah,
positional dominance is going to be the key in this one. They're both not incredible strikers. I think that Liz has a pretty good jab and she's got tight technique, but she's obviously not a knockout artist or anything. Kana, very unique striking, and it's still a work in progress. But also very interestingly, shameless plug too, the chat I had with Kana, which I want to give all you guys a thank you for the questions you submitted, because they were actually all very good and the conversation turned out beautifully, I thought. Always fun with Kana, as you know. Thank you if you checked it out. Thank you for the questions, all that. But as you guys surely saw, she mentioned how she kind of understands that she has been a bit of a slow starter, at least in her career, and maybe contributing the fact that she had that layoff going into the last one maybe played a part against Lara. But then at the same time, Lara is a better striker than Liz Carmouche as well. So, a little bit of a double whammy there, and a fairly quick turnaround, keeping Kana more active to kind of back how she was in her early days, I think will be a little bit helpful for her. See how quickly she starts. Maybe, I can't see her being over aggressive or anything, but I think she wants to be a little bit maybe quicker than she has been and was in the last fight. But as Ghost points out, positional dominance and clinch. Yeah, I just think that she will probably be the one taking the fight to those grappling positions, as opposed to Liz. I think Liz, as I also talked to her, shameless plug, that is out now, Liz was saying how she sees a very big advantage in the striking in her favor. So I think she's just going to go with wherever the fight takes it, because she kind of can, honestly, whereas Kana will be much more comfortable in her area of expertise, because of course that's where she's best at. And Rue pointing out here, Liz is more likely to fight off her back. Yeah, we've seen that a bit before. Jimmy pointed out, I don't think Kana will be able to hit her running foot sweep, but she can get her Osotos.
She could.
Yeah. And also,
that's really interesting.
Who was it right here mentioned? Was it Rue asked, judo versus freestyle, who do you guys prefer, or who do you favor? And then we got James mentioning will this be like Rousey versus Liz? Because that's the one thing you can make a comparison to is the last time that Liz fought an undefeated judoka, she actually didn't do very well. I mean, she did all right, right? But again, another thing that if you want to look at that Kana conversation, and we talked about the head and arm throw, which I think that was a Ghost question. So thank you for that. And she doesn't really do that. And she explained why she doesn't really like that position, just hasn't been one that she's worked on. Whereas that's what got Ronda in trouble against Liz. So that is helpful for Kana, that she won't be looking for that move and position in particular and try to hit some other ones. So I don't think it's going to look or be too similar to the Rousey fight. But if you want to make a comparison, of course, that's the easy one. Undefeated judokas going against Liz. Obviously, Rousey and Liz was at bantamweight rather than flyweight, but a little bit similar. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes, man. I'm very excited. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, I think, because Liz is such a veteran. She's already seen that, and she's been working with Ronda's old coach, which she told me as well in that conversation. Not Edmund, the other guy. I'm blanking on his name right now. Justin Flores. That's who it is.
Flores.
Yeah, who is pretty darn good in his own right.
He's all right.
So, and Mr. Beckham is asking something that I don't understand.
Are you part of the Fight Challenge group, Steve? Fight Challenge group. What is the Fight Challenge group, Mr. Beckham?
Yes, give us a reminder. But Ghost says, thanks, Drake, for mentioning that. Kana really explained why she hates the Gatami position. Great stuff. No, thank you, sir. Yeah, all of those questions, except for a couple, of course, are from you guys. Couldn't ask all of them, but wanted to fit one in from each of you, of course. So hope you were satisfied. It's really fun. Really fun. We're trying to get Kana walking out with the frying pan. You guys really put that out there. We got to make this happen. Get this gimmick going full swing. But anyway, as for this fight, Keyboard Warriors, the fight pick'em.
No, he is not. And I honestly, Mr. Beckham, I hardly am. I forget to do, like, I'm in a few different groups where we do picks, and I forget every weekly, on a weekly basis. I forget.
Yes, that would be great, James, if she walks out with the frying pan, because then we know that is because of us. You know, how great is that? that's what kind of makes those moments awesome. And I don't see why not.
Sick. It would be pretty sick if she did it.
I don't see why not, because if you remember, Steve, at Bellator 228, AJ McKee had the frying pan at weigh-ins. The PUBG frying pan against Karahanyan.
Yeah.
So if they allowed that there, let her walk out with that shit. That'd be awesome. So
it would be awesome. It would be a lot of fun for us, for sure. And for you guys, it would be a lot of fun because you know exactly why she's doing it. A lot of other people are going to be like, why does she have a frying pan in her hands?
Then they'll go look and they will see the GIF, which has over 500,000 views, which is still crazy to me. It's a lot. People love the Kana. But Steve, does she get it done? Do you have the faith that she can?
I do. I have the faith in her. Liz Carmouche is a very tough opponent, though. Incredibly tough opponent for her. But I think that she wins. I think that she gets the decision. I don't think that she'll be able to ground and pound, or
not many can
tap Liz out because she's so damn tough. I don't think that that is what happens. But I do think that Kana wins by decision.
That's the thing, man. Is like, for me, this is a fight where it's like pretty heart versus head, because I feel like going against Liz Carmouche at this stage it's tough because she makes so many people fight her fight. And like, you look back at the Porto one, which is pretty much what I'm alluding to.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Kana, of course, she's undefeated still, but she's proven to not really fall into traps like that or play people's games. She is always trying to do her thing. And you look at the Lara fight for a perfect example. Rallied back after a very bad first round. If she can pretty much grind out, look at how Casey O'Neill did last week. If she can continue with that pace and keep up and be able to be strong enough to really, move Liz around a bit, because we know she's got the technique and skills to do so, then she'd be fine. But I think it's going to be close no matter what. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I'm very excited for it. Kind of wish it had 5 rounds, but we'll get there when we get there. Of course, you guys, I have, even if I didn't think Kana was going to win for sure, I have to pick her, because otherwise I'll get kicked off the show. So I am going to take Kana as well.
You would get kicked out.
I would get kicked out.
And I would bring somebody else in for sure.
Yeah. So Kana, I think decision as well. I'm not sure if I want to say unanimous or split, but I do think it'll be close either way. So she'll get it done. If there's a finish, that would be massive for her. Because when's the last time Liz got finished? Ronda? Was that actually the last time she got finished, right?
I think it was Ronda. That's Ronda
insane. Rousey. So could you imagine that if she got armbarred again?
It was so long ago.
By another judoka. That would be
that would be crazy. That would be crazy. I don't think it's going to happen, but
yeah. So
this is just so smart, Like she's been,
and her jiu-jitsu's only gotten so much better since then. Trained with Alima, the 10th Planet crew, everybody down there. So Ghost Phantom says Kana had some elbow opportunities against Ilara, Joanne, and Liz likes the over-under clinch, so lots of pathways for Kana. Yeah, man. I'm really ready for this. I'm really excited for this fight. It would be huge, because you guys know that if Kana does get a title fight, she would be only the second Japanese woman, and I believe only the third Japanese fighter in Bellator history to ever fight for a title. First, you got Megumi, that's some good company, and Kyoji, also good company, who ended up becoming champion. So if Kana can actually end up being champion, she'll only be the second Japanese Bellator champion ever and the first Japanese female champion. Megumi should have been champion. We all know that, but crazy company, man. And she's on the right track. So
how crazy was it that Horiguchi went in and won?
Still crazy. Still madness. Wow. I still can't believe he defended the first time. That was insane.
Wow, dude. Just crazy shit. But Horiguchi's amazing, and I'm not surprised motherfuckers at all.
He is.
I love that guy. Fucking love that guy.
I know.
One of my favorite fighters to watch.
No, he's phenomenal. So good.
Yeah.
I like this prediction from James. Kana foot sweep into an OSP choke.
Not against Liz. Not against
Liz. Yeah, I don't think so, but
that'd
be sick.
It would be awesome, but it's not going to happen against Liz. So
there you have it. You guys can be on your way now.
You guys can sleep well tonight, knowing that Drake and I picked Kana to win.
We actually really should have saved this for the grand finale, because it just doesn't feel right going from that to the one UFC fight, which I think everybody will agree with. But yeah, here we are anyways. I'm still excited for it because of one half of it. I mean, I like both of them, but before we get there, I see this question coming in from Rue. Since you mentioned Megumi, will you be doing an in-depth story on Weili like Megumi 10 years down the line?
She's not up there with Megumi.
I mean, Rue, I would love to do that for sure, but yeah, you have to kind of look at the comparison. To be honest here, I know you guys love Weili, and you should.
Come on.
The thing about the Megumi story, right, was the depth of that was I had many people help me with that and talk about her because of the legacy and legend of her and how iconic she is. And Weili is, on her way to being that for China, but already it's been changed a little bit drastically, and just like going in that same depth right now, I can't imagine that being it's not possible yet, right? We'll see in 10 years. And also the thing about doing that for Megumi was the fact that nobody had done that before, which blew my mind. And, you know, trying to give her that proper respect with something so in-depth in storytelling. And yes, I've done, you know, a decently in-depth interview with Whaley the one time I did, and people have done some stuff on her already, more mainstream, right? And more respect given to her, which would make that less likely, but I would still love to. But again, yeah, he said that's why I said 10 years. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I know that he said 10 years. Yes. But I mean, Megumi she has such a history.
Yeah, she is history. So, a building block. But all right, you guys.
One of my favorite articles.
Thank you, my man.
Not one just for you, but in article, you know.
Yeah, it was a special one. So, all right, UFC Vegas 30. Oh, that's not supposed to be a ticker. Excuse me. There we go. UFC Vegas 30 preview. Just one fight, which feels weird. We usually get like two at least, right, Steve? So,
like I said, this card is,
yeah, it's lacking a bit, but I love me some Raging Panda. I do.
Yeah, that's the only reason why we're watching.
I like the main event a lot too. I am excited for Volkov always.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think he's gonna win too. I think that's a tough matchup for Gon. If we're just gonna gloss over that real quick,
I agree with you. Yeah. I know that Gon is, people like him. And that's fine, but Volkov is kind of a monster.
Yeah, especially when he's on, he is excellent.
Yeah.
His precision and combinations are just chef's kiss at heavyweight.
So Julia Avila,
yes,
the Raging Panda, versus Ulija Stroyanenko. I look forward to Avila. She's gone through some shit with her camps or with her gyms. This is her first full camp up there with James Krause. We'll see what he can do for her. I think knowing now that shit went down with her old gym, I think they kind of burdened her a little bit, and she didn't do as well as she could have. And now going up to Oklahoma City with Krause, a great gym to be at. James Krause has really turned into one of the best MMA coaches out there. This past year, it shows what his fighters are doing. Can he do the same with Avila? I think so, because I think that she's an incredibly intelligent fighter, very, very smart fighter, and it's not even just that she's good at fighting. She's really smart.
Yeah, she is. I forget what it is, but not a weather person, but like a geologist or something crazy. Like, yeah. So she is.
Is it geologist? Yeah, geologist.
Yeah, I think so. But either way, yeah, I love everything you're saying about going to glory. I think it definitely doesn't hurt at all. James Krause is awesome as a coach and a fighter.
It's going to do so much wonders for her, I think.
And the funny thing too, despite that, is I think that she won't even have needed the improvements that she's probably made with them for this matchup, just because stylistically, if Raging Panda goes in there and Rage is like we know she can, I think that it's just a bad night for Yulia. And you know, I think that I've been saying it ever since Stoliarenko pretty much got off The Ultimate Fighter. We've seen her fight since then. she has improved a whole lot, and she's very dangerous with those arm bars. She throws them up all the time.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. She's not that good.
Hey man, you saw that Versosa fight. Come on now.
I did see it, but I mean that was one fight, and it's just not.
And then she lost to Yana. Yana is very good.
She's not a good fighter.
Doesn't do it for you. All
she
right.
ain't much, as Stamina says. She ain't much. She's a Lionheart, but she ain't much.
I don't know. I disagree, but in this matchup, obviously, I have been team Avila since the go. She's been one of my favorites to watch, really, since she kind of started coming up. Back in the days when she was taking on Nico and what is it, Marion Renault? She also beat like kind of crazy. And I still believe that she's got that potential to be a champion, but obviously got halted a little bit by Sajara. But I just don't think Sajara is going to be able to do that Stoliarenko is going to be able to do the same thing Sajara did, considering Avila's rebounding. And the improvements, changing camp will probably be for the best. Everything just kind of, this entire fight, everything around it plays into favor Avila. And I mean, Stoliarenko's had more time to prepare now after the fainting episode, but still had to go through that, which was very bad indeed. But yeah, just pressure in your face. Avila throws bombs. She smothers you. Stoliarenko's best hope in this fight in particular is to catch one of those submissions, one of those arm bars, which is possible, but I just don't see it in this one. Raging Panda smash, I think. I'm going to say second round, though. Stoliarenko is obviously tough. She had the bloodiest fucking fight I've ever seen in my life against Versosa. So, if you haven't seen that one, Suki, which you're probably gone now, check that fight out if you want a phenomenal bloodbath.
That was disgusting.
Yeah, that was what, the day before Johan and Weili too. So that weekend was just violence. That weekend was pure violence. Two of the best fights you'll ever see. Yes, but Raging Panda all day for me, always. Generally, I think second round. Stoliarenko will survive to the second round, but she'll be beating her up pretty good, which sucks because I as I've been saying, I think Stoliarenko is a little bit better than you guys do and has been, but
she's not good.
Just a rough one for her. And in terms of better upside, it's Raging Panda.
Hopefully, she has a better weight cut.
Yeah, it's still crazy.
That was terrible. That was one of the worst things that I've seen. As far as
that entire scene was, very bad.
It shouldn't have happened.
No.
They shouldn't have put her up. They shouldn't have put her up there again.
Yeah, that was just absurd. But either way, how are you? How are you picking it, Steve?
Well, I mean, obviously Avila is going to smash. We'll go round 3.
All right.
I do think that Stoliarenko is tough. That's what she is. She isn't much more than that, though.
Brutal. You guys are brutal. You remember the last time you didn't believe in someone I had faith in? Norma Dumont went out there and beat Felicia Spencer. So.
Norma Dumont is a better fighter.
Hey, that'd be.
And you didn't even pick her.
Yeah, I did.
You picked Dumont?
Yeah.
Oh.
I might have changed after the show, but I know my final pick was definitely.
You're not picking.
No, very true. Oh, no.
Yeah. So I mean,
good point. Raging Panda all day. Let's leave it at that.
Sure.
So
100%. Surprised that there's only one fight on this card, one women's fight on this card.
And this fight wasn't even supposed to be there. It wasn't even supposed to be there.
We're used to seeing a couple at least. No, every fight, every card.
Yeah. So James agrees. He says Avila by decision. And then he also says, such a strange episode today. CM Punk was mentioned. Indeed, very odd. How did that even come up? Who did that? I don't remember who said that. Was it Yusuf?
Yeah,
it was Yusuf. Of course
it was. Damn question.
Of course it was. But all right, you guys, we are at the end of the road. One more week before we find out, or one more. This is the last episode before we see if Kana is in line for a title shot or not. Frying pans will be seen or not at weigh-ins or at walkouts. Hopefully one or the other. We'll see. But either way, follow us, like, share, and subscribe. You know the drill. At Drake Riggs _, at Steve K _MA, at The Scrap News. Subscribe on the channels, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Steve, anything coming?
That's always Yusuf. your Brit buddy, Stamina. We can't forget him. He's there as well.
He's not going to claim him. We do not claim.
Yusuf is unclaimable.
Rain, well, just don't mention it to JHK because he will explode. He's going to have to deal with it. But all right, Steve, any MMA inks, anything on the way just yet for you?
No MMA ink. But I have an article coming out.
Sweet.
Yeah. This week, I guess, sometime this week.
Are you still doing it for the strap, or is it all the new one?
Yeah, no, all the new one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, then as for me, you guys, as we mentioned, spoke to Kana last week. That is out now. And gave her all your questions. Had a good little catch up, all that fun stuff. Also spoke to Ramona Pascal. Spoke to Marina Rodriguez, Diana Avsaragova, Ayaka Mura. That one is on the way, not released yet. It might be out now, depending on Mr. Atkin and when he's dropping these things. That one is coming. SCMP MMA. Satoko Shinashi, another legend. You want to talk about the Megumi Fuji era? Satoko Shinashi, check that one out. MyMAnews.com. Liz Carmouche today. I feel like there's someone in this mix that I'm forgetting. Oh, I also spoke to Jessica Del Boni. What was that on? Was that yesterday? So talked to her after the Invicta tournament. Good stuff with her. A whole lot of people. I'm losing track of them, but yeah, you know where to find everything, you guys, on the Twitters, on the YouTubes. You know where it's at, so check those out. Yes, thank you, James, for checking out the Ramona one. Good stuff with her, as always, as well. Oh, yeah, lots of stuff coming, you guys, and more in the works. Broughton Horizon Episode 9 production is in the works now. That is coming hopefully by the end of the week before Ryzen 29, which no women's fights on that event, unfortunately. But, hey, another great card from Ryzen. Should be fun. Tune into that. And, yeah, I think that is it, at least for things that I can remember. So I appreciate you guys for checking them all out and being interested. And Awesome Ghost says he'll DM me about the chess toxic community. I am very curious to see about this.
That's so weird.
Aside from that, Steve, let's send it on home.
Thank you for tuning in for almost 3 hours with us this week. Without you guys, there is no Drake and I. We would just be two dorks talking to each other about women's fighting without any listeners. And that's not fun at all. But thank you for coming in weekly. Stamina, Jimmy, Suki, Yusuf, Ghost Phantom, Makoto, Rain, James, Chuck from WMMA Scene, Sammy, Ro, Alvin was here. Alvin said hello. I think he said
Mr.
one
Beckham
thing.
was here.
Mr. Beckham, OG Trollmatic. We had a lot of people actually in here.
Yeah.
Popping in and stuff. Great to see. So next week, same time, same channel. Come hang out. Enjoy Kana.
Peace.
Later, guys.